All right, we're back on SportsLine, and our phone lines are still open, 737-7767, if you'd like to join in on the conversation tonight. Joined by Rhett Bryan of Titans Radio. And, Rhett, we got a call before the break that was asking, what are the realistic expectations? A lot of people are drinking the Kool-Aid when you see the USA Today prediction that says 12-4 and winning the division, and Pro Football Focus says they've got the third best roster in the league, and the Monday Morning Quarterback says that they're fourth in their preseason power rankings. And, you see all that and you get excited, and rightfully so. What are the realistic expectations? Here's where I struggle with that. I think this is a very good team. But a year ago, they made a quantum leap from 3-13 to 9-7 and just outside of the playoffs. I think some of those expectations that you're seeing from the outside are people expecting them to take another leap of that size or close to that size, to go from 9-7 to 12-4, let's say. I don't know if that's possible in a 2-year span. So for me, I stopped way short of the 12-4. I think if you could be just a little bit better than you were a year ago, if you can get to 10 wins, as you said, if you can win this division, and let's face it, that's where all of this should start. People want to talk about the playoffs, and it's been since 2008. That's a long time to go without a playoff appearance. But what's the easiest way to get to that point? It's by winning your division. And so this team, which has had its fair share of struggles in the AFC South, they've got to figure out how to beat those teams. And to me, that's taking the step forward. If they can handle Houston and handle Indianapolis, and instead of going 2-4, go 4-2 this year in the division, I think that gets them to 10 wins and wins them the division. That's kind of my prediction for this team. It's hard for me to see a 12-4, a 13-3 step, but I do think they can get over the hump in the division and get to the playoffs.
The division, I don't think any doubt, is up for grabs. We don't know the full health status of Andrew Luck in Indianapolis. We know he's not going to play in week 1. There could be a quarterback change in Houston by the time the Titans get there in week 4. Deshaun Watson could be the quarterback by then. And we know what's going on in the last 2 or 3 weeks in Jacksonville with Doug Marrone and his 2 quarterbacks. Yes, Jacksonville's added free agents and draft picks, so has the other 3 teams. But it's up for grabs because out of all 4 teams, when you pepper in Andrew Luck's injury status or just kind of not knowing what's going on, they should be the lead horse on paper. Now, turning from a paper line into a real thing, you're right. They have to win the division. And that's kind of been the message that I got from John Robinson and Coach Mularkey from day 1 in 2017. We have to find the best players and get the best roster together, the best 53 to get us over the hump in the division.
Well, the great thing you can look at if you're a Titans fan or if you're John Robinson or Mike Mularkey is the stability. This has been an organization that just hasn't had a lot of it in recent years, and now for really the better part of 2 years, since they were hired in January of 2016, as you mentioned, this has been a team that has had stability and had a singular focus of what they're going to do. So back to the expectation question, or the leap. Let's say they go from 9-7 to the division championship level, or heck, even get to the 12-4 level. What's the single biggest area where they have to make that leap for those results to follow in your mind?
Oh, I don't think we have to worry about the offense. I think it's probably the special teams phase as much as I think most people would answer that saying the Titans secondary. I think the special teams phase has to come along. You look at Bill Belichick's teams in New England. That's a super important phase of the game for them, and they play it well. And that's something you'll notice John Robinson has started to attack. Again, bringing in Darren Bates and Brendan Trawick from Oakland to try to help do that.
Those guys are studs on the special teams.
They're headhunters. They're unbelievable. And then you got an Adoree Jackson. And Adoree Jackson, we saw a little bit there in Nissan Stadium what he's like. And I think that, because that kick coverage team, those guys in return, punt returns for sure, they're going to have to. There's a timing and a calibration thing right there with Adoree, because they haven't had a guy of that talent, skill set, and speed probably since Adam Pac-Man Jones. And you're going to have a lot of blocking in the back penalties and things like that if your calibration's not right, because this guy can hit a gear and is gone. So they got to work on those things, and I'm sure they have been in practice. But I would say special teams has to do the next level of kind of bringing it up with the other two phases.
That was certainly a weakness a year ago that they hope that they have addressed during the offseason and in the preseason. I stick in the secondary just because when you talk about the questions out of the preseason, that still remains one of my big ones. Is number one, who starts opposite Logan Ryan? I assume you're in agreement with me that's probably LaShawn Sims, at least for week 1.
I would say so, yes.
But can he be your full-time answer on the outside there? And how do you feel about who goes in the slot then? Can you just slow down? And they're going to get a heck of a test on Sunday. Amari Cooper, Michael Crabtree, Seth Roberts has killed him in the past. Can they slow those guys down? We're going to find out.
And to take it a step further, because I remember, I've covered this team for 20 years, and those late 2000s teams that had an Albert Haynesworth and Kyle Vanden Bosch and Tony Brown and those guys, they had pass rush. They were just caving in the pocket. And in particular, in 2007, Michael Griffin's rookie year, he went to the Pro Bowl. He had 7 picks because Albert Haynesworth was a disruptive force up front. Now, I don't know that they have an Albert Haynesworth, but they have Jarrell Casey. They have Daquan Jones. They have all these studs up front. If the pass rush is good, the secondary will get some gifts. Now, the secondary's got to do their part, yes. But I think there's some reciprocation there.
How do you feel about Kevin Byard? A lot has been made of him in training camp and what he can do. To me, in a new role this year that's going to be kind of a center fielder back there, I think he could have a breakout year in terms of causing some of those turnovers you talked about.
I look forward to seeing what Kevin has in year 2. You talk about the hunger and the want to. We talked about that in the first segment. He's got all of that. He wants to be the captain of that room. He wants to be the guy in the secondary. He wants to take over that leadership role. And to hear Mike Mularkey tonight on his show on Titans Radio, he says he lines up and acts just like a savvy vet. He knows exactly where he's supposed to be. He's lining up other guys back there with him. And he said Mike Mularkey said, I can't wait to see what he does Sunday. And him being an MTSU product, I think we're all rooting for him. He's played locally down the road, but I'm very excited to see what he brings to the table in year 2 because now he's been there, he's done that, and I think once the light goes on where you're not thinking about where to line up, you're just lining up, and now you're ready to go make a play. And you're right, moving over to a free-ranging, free safety center fielder type play, I think it plays into a skill set style.
Well, his personality fits in very well with what they want from players. He is in early every morning, one of the first few guys in the building, late to leave every night. He works hard, and you throw in that playmaking ability that we've seen a little bit of throughout the preseason and last year too when he was in there. He's a guy that they certainly like and think can make a big stride this year. He's Rhett Bryan from Titans Radio. Steve Layman here with you tonight on SportsLine. We'll take a break. Our phone lines remain open if you'd like to get in, join in on the conversation in the next segment. 737-7767 is the number. We'll take a break, be back with more Titans talk here on SportsLine on News Channel 5+.